A single message, hurriedly bound to a Roman spear, shaped the future of secrecy on the battlefield. Julius Caesar's need for undetectable orders gave birth to cryptography as we know it, outwitting armies across Europe. But what secret did this code hold that made it endure for 2,000 years? And why was it almost impossible to break? Until it wasn't. Winter gripped the Roman camp as Quintus Cicero's legion braced for another night under siege. The enemy, fierce and unyielding, had cut off every path for relief. With time slipping away, a lone messenger crept through the darkness, clutching a slender spear. Fastened to the shaft was a strip of parchment, its message concealed in a script foreign to prying eyes. The spear arced over the barricades, landing deep inside the battered camp. Soldiers rushed to retrieve it, their hands shaking, not from cold, but from the weight of hope. Cicero unrolled the dispatch and found the words written not in Latin, but in Greek letters, an improvised shield against enemy spies. As the meaning became clear, a surge of determination swept through the ranks. The message carried Caesar's command to stand firm. That coded order, delivered by spear, would decide the fate of a legion and reveal the power of secrecy in war. Julius Caesar faced a problem no Roman commander had solved before: how to send orders across hostile territory without risking betrayal if messages fell into enemy hands. During the Gallic Wars, between 58 and 50 BCE, he devised a new kind of secret writing. Instead of relying on foreign alphabets or trusted couriers alone, Caesar began to shift each letter of his messages 3 places forward in the Latin alphabet. A became D, B became E, and so on, wrapping around at the end. This simple method, described by Suetonius decades later, meant that only those who knew the pattern could read his words. Caesar used this cipher to communicate with his generals, encoding commands and strategies that would be meaningless to anyone intercepting them. In his commentaries, he alludes to these encrypted dispatches, showing how a straightforward shift could outwit both illiterate foes and rival commanders untrained in the art of cryptography. The result was a new era of military secrecy, born from a leader's need to control information on the battlefield. A single, repeating principle powered Caesar's cipher. Every letter in the message shifted forward by a fixed number of places in the Latin alphabet. With Caesar's usual method, A became D, B became E, and so on through the sequence. When the end of the alphabet was reached, the shift wrapped around, X became A, Y became B, Z became C. This circular pattern meant no special equipment or symbols were needed, only the knowledge of the shift number unlocked the code. The Latin alphabet of Caesar's day had 23 letters, so there were only 22 possible ways to shift a message before the pattern repeated. Each possible shift formed a different key, but the limited number made the cipher vulnerable if someone tried every option. Even so, for Roman commanders and their messengers, the simple approach was a strength. Messages could be encoded or decoded quickly, even under the pressure of war, as long as the shift was kept secret. Roman cryptography did not stop at a single method. As Caesar's cipher circulated among military and political elites, new variants and alternate devices appeared across the empire. Some commanders experimented with different shift values, adjusting the key to suit personal preference, or to confuse would be code breakers. The most famous adaptation came from Augustus, Caesar's adopted son and Rome's first emperor. According to Suetonius, Augustus favored a shift of one letter, moving A to B, B to C, and so on. But instead of cycling back to the start, he treated the final letter Z in an unusual way, either leaving it unchanged or writing it as a double A. This subtle twist, while easy to remember, added little security, but it showed how even simple ciphers could be personalized. Meanwhile, the Romans also borrowed from older Greek traditions. The citale, a tool originally used by Spartan generals, found occasional use in Roman circles. Unlike Caesar's substitution, the citale worked by wrapping a strip of parchment around a rod, scrambling the order of the letters. These early experiments with both substitution and transposition laid the groundwork for the more complex ciphers that would follow, as Romans continued to adapt their secret writing to new challenges. Roman cryptography survived the fall of the empire not by chance, but through the careful work of medieval monks. In candlelit scriptoria, generations of copyists preserved the writings of Suetonius, who described Caesar's shift cipher, and Augustus's subtle variant. These manuscripts kept the knowledge alive as Europe's own literacy faded. Centuries later, in the 9th century, the Arab mathematician Al-Kindi changed the rules forever. His treatise introduced frequency analysis, a method that counted how often each letter appeared in a message. In Latin, the letter E appeared most, an Achilles' heel for simple ciphers. Al-Kindi's insight exposed the Caesar cipher's fatal flaw, proving that secrecy needed more than shifting letters to endure. Leon Battista Alberti's invention of the cipher disk in 1467 brought a revolution. For the first time, messages could shift through multiple alphabets, defeating the old tricks of frequency analysis. Centuries later, the Enigma machine mechanized this idea on a massive scale, using rotors to scramble codes during World War II. Even today, echoes of Caesar's principle remain. ROT-13, a playful internet cipher, shifts letters by 13 places, while modern digital security relies on complex algorithms like AES-256. From Alberti's disk to the encrypted backbone of the internet, the simple act of shifting letters has shaped the course of secrecy for over 2,000 years. Every encrypted message today owes something to Caesar's simple shift. As digital threats multiply, the need for secrecy endures. 2 millennia on, the code's legacy still shapes our world.